how long, Mary, have you been a nurse? How long have you been in nursing?
26 years.
26 years. And you've
Yeah,
you've seen some amazing things, I'm certain.
I have. I work in the operating room at a trauma transplant center, and I'm the lead transplant nurse for the liver transplant team.
So, Mary, what you were suggesting, what you were saying was that what you know about the technology, in let's just talk about it basically. So, from the negative ionization point as being a water ionizer, why is that important?
Why that's important is that ions are negative charged particles. And the poisons in our system, which we know as free radicals, or just say poisons, the things that are going to be detrimental to our health that are running around in our body, have positive charges. They are very reactive. They're looking for a home. They're looking to join with something. They're looking to be partnered up with something. And what they usually do is they partner up with us, with our tissues, with our body systems, with our cells. And what happens is they cause dysfunction and disease. So what, in essence, when you are putting ions in the body in the right amount, you are giving that hydrogen, the positive charged poisons, so to say, that could do destruction, you're making them unavailable to attach to you. And when they attach to these ions, which are negative, and the detrimental guys are positive, they now are happy and out they go. They are excreted out of the body, and they're happy because they've joined with something negative. And
So,
those are both very highly charged particles.
so
And
they
how,
cancels them out, so to
It
speak?
cancels them out.
So
Yeah.
they can be
It
excreted or
cancels out the
eliminated.
damage that
Wow.
could have occurred.
and how does the oxygen from the ionization then, in your opinion, medical opinion, how does that work? I know why how we're generating 250% more oxygen, but how is that generation in the air then making happy, healthy pigs, chickens, and people?
Well, what happens is now you've got the oxygen with the technology, you've got this oxygen available for good work. It's absolutely able to now go where it needs to go, of which 4 molecules are attached optimally to our hemoglobin cells. And that is what is paramount. We are an oxygen loving species. We're not fish. We know what to do with oxygen. Oxygen is very healing. We thrive on oxygen. So oxygen has to be available. And oxygen being part of water, when you're having this optimized water, you now have the oxygen is more available because the surface tension is not there. When the surface tension is there, it's locked that oxygen down. And we're only getting minimal, if anything. That's why you're not quenching your thirst at the molecular level. With the technology of the pure water, of the pure waterology systems, what's happening is you're making that oxygen available to get on the blood. And that is life-giving and absolutely optimizes your health.
And then with the dyne issue, with the alkaporin channel, in your opinion, medically, what's happening with the dyne size by pollutants, contaminants going from 75 to 80%, 75 to 80 size when we're working 40 or 46 for actual absorption? What's happening, in your opinion, with pollutants and contaminants creating these dyne sizes? What is the issue there, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I feel that it's absolutely creating it's locking them down. It's taking those pollutants and corralling them. And there's enough things to bind with and also enough to go into the system. And we talked about, are you talking about the voltage as well?
Yeah, I'm going to bring that in next. Then how does the voltage, in your opinion, work since both the technologies produce voltage, how does the voltage work then within the water devices? for the
Well,
water optimizers, in
with
your opinion?
with the voltage, what a lot of people are not told, even they don't learn this in medical schools even. This is something that you have to seek out on your own, that I found out through other modalities and other doctors that I'm aware of that have learned this in their studies. And what they find is that the human body has to run between 75 to 95 millivolts. And this energy is absolutely necessary for the the chemical reactions, that spark, that gasoline that's needed for the chemical reactions, of which there are 27 quadrillion chemical reactions that are needed in order to run our body. Every time you blink your eye, every time you move a muscle, every time you take a breath, these are all chemical reactions that need that spark of electricity, of voltage. And that's a 27 quadrillion rather, is a 27 with 21 zeros after it. And that's per second. So if something's misfiring and if something's not able to get that energy, that millivoltage, you're going to have areas of dysfunction. And you get enough areas of dysfunction, you're going to have areas of stagnation. And then that grows into possibly a disease process. One of the biggest areas that you must absolutely shore up electronically, biomagnetically, bioelectronically, however you want to say it, one of the most absolutely electronic parts of our body is our cell wall. That guy has to have a certain charge in order to protect the force field. Just like an electric fence around a property, that is exactly what your cell membrane is. And it decides who can safely come out for what reason and who can safely go in for what reason. And that has to work in absolute synchrony, and it has to work optimally to give us optimal health. And at the cellular level, you don't think about your tissues. You got to think about the cells that make up the tissues that make up the organ systems. You've got all kinds of tissues in your body, but the main component is the component of the cell. And when you make that cell well, you're going to make the entire body well. And that's all reliant on electrical charge.
And so then if we look at the pollutants and contaminants, if we look at and I'm going to group them into the ones in the water as well as the magnetobiology issues with pulse radiation and so forth, those are also all positive ions, chemicals. Okay, so in your opinion, both the combination of the water and the air, what do you feel that our optimizing technology is doing for plants, animals, and people?
Well, the whole basic thing is very simple. You're supplying ions. You're supplying a negative charged substance that's going out there and hooking up with the potential destroyers of our body. The things that are causing sickness, those are all positively charged. And those are your free radicals. Those are the pollutants in the air, the pollutants in our water, the pollutants in the fabrics of our life, in the mattress, in the new cars, in the paints that we put on our walls sometimes. You've got to look at all of that, the substances that are surrounding us, that are infiltrating our body. Those are positively charged. So when you supply the insides of your body and make it available, the negative charge, those are linking up with the hydrogens and the positive poisons that are looking to connect with you. That is going to cause the destruction in your body, little by little by little. You might not feel it right away, but you get enough of this accumulation in your body, you will definitely have some signs and symptoms and possibly a diagnosis or a dysfunction in your body.
And as a nurse, would you agree that that's part of that algoporin channel issue? It's positive ions are building up at the top of that channel. That they
Yes.
can't get down the channel. Okay.
Yes,
And
yes,
and and the other, so that's the hydration issue, because the
yes, because
hydration,
water is very, very highly charged, and it needs to break off the hydrogen and oxygens in order to do its work.
it's fantastic. So, as I look at this from the agricultural perspective, we've got happy, healthy, oxygenated, ionized animals, you know, and
Yes,
and oddly as it sounds, how would you think that you're watering plants in a greenhouse, but they're not getting optimal oxygen because they're not being ionized properly? Because the
that's right.
water, because of the pollutants and contaminants in the water supply, that isn't giving the information necessary. And then now from a little bit of a quantum perspective, when we move into this idea of informational waveforms and fields, how would you reckon this in the informational world? Because we say that we're giving the proper information, minerals, nutrients, and so forth that the body needs for optimal health. How would you, if you could, how would you draw that analogy between the quantum and the frequencies and the energy?
Well, here's the thing is every one of our tissues have different frequencies. And when you have when you have the electronics, this living, when you talk about this water becomes living, that is a frequency now that your body is able to read at that electrical level, at that bioelectrical level, which we are more bioelectrical than we are physical. It's the electronics of atoms holding onto each other, molecules holding onto each other. And when these molecules and atoms are holding onto each other, this electrical charge makes up bone, blood, brain tissue, heart tissue, cartilage, ligaments, teeth, eyes, you just name it, that it all has to be held together. And so this is all information that you have to supply. And information is electronic. And so we are as well. So when you have this living water, this crystalline structure, you are talking at the energetic level, pure and simple. And your body is able to read this and register it. And at the most basic substructure of negatives and positives, it's going to be picked up. You're going to be able to, your body will be able to read the blueprint. And it can't read the blueprint if it's all stuck on top of each other and not able to break apart and do the magic of the chemistry at the bioelectric level.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the technology has been doing in agriculture for the last 10 or 15 years, is providing that. So let's just draw this to a logical addition. So essentially, then, when you have structured, optimized water in your home, you have negative ionization in all your outlets and throughout your house. You're basically building a holistic dome of oxygen.
Yes.
Is that a fair estimate? And electrical charge.
I would definitely say that you're now protected, you're now optimized, and as the bad stuff moves out, as the inert, non-functioning water that you have in your tissues, wherever you have it stored up in your body at the cellular level, you're replacing that water substance of which we are 70 to greater percent made up of water.
Right.
You are moving that old stuff out, and in comes the new. And you're replenishing this. This has to be replenished, and it's getting to that level. It's that living structure that's talking to you, this living species.
Yeah.
And it's very much in synchrony with who you are as a life force, and that being a life force, finally, with the waking up, because of the pure waterology technology, you're waking up the water.
Yeah. And the water in your body.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
what I find interesting is, so you've got to take a shower in low voltage water. You're bringing food in that you think is high voltage water, which is low voltage food. You've got all kinds of pathogens and bacteria in the house, which is low voltage. And so you're not even recognizing the contaminants and the positive ions
Right.
that you're surrounded by every day.
Well, that is
Every day.
something, yeah, people don't realize that anything that touches your skin, anything on your skin, anything you're putting on your skin, being the largest organ of your body, in 26 seconds, it's in every organ of your body. So with that, you have to be very careful what you are doing with substances. Not to mention, we know that we're consumed with, oh, what I'm putting in my body through my mouth. Well,
Right.
and what I might be breathing through my nose. But
Right.
also it's your skin. That's
Right.
also, and your eyes. Your eyes also are another portal that people don't realize.
So you really, right out of the bat, you already have all the chemicals that are underneath the cupboard. You have the water that's coming from the municipal supply. You have the electrical outlet that's providing its level of positive ions. You have all these different things. You have the clothes in your closet. You have, I mean, I've got this light that I got from a appliance store, and it smells. So it's got a gas off on it. It's made in some
Wow.
type of plastic. It's got some type of gas off on it. It's almost gone now. I'm like, geez, they didn't tell me about that. You know, so it's like you got all these things, not to mention all, and that's just that level. Then if we bring in all of the EMF and everything else that's happening in the house, the pulse radiation, the cell phone, the TV, the computers, half the appliances now operate with the same technology. The smart home isn't so smart for the body. It sounds like
No,
to me.
no, it's all under the guise of technology and improving your life, but it's actually poisoning your life. And
Yeah.
there are people that are refugees from this type of existence, this modern existence that we live in. I think if you took somebody from the probably the early 20th century and brought them forward to today, if you could go back in time and grab somebody, they would probably be dead within days because of the soup that we live in. That's
Yes.
part of our modern life. And there
Yes.
are people who cannot be around these types of chemicals in our environment that are literally living in caves. There are people that are refugees that have to live outside of society,
Yeah.
way in the rural parts of whatever the country they're living in, because they have become so sickened by it with their sensitivities. And so it makes you wonder. I mean, I didn't go to school with anybody who was autistic. I didn't go to school with anybody who was autistic. I didn't go to school with anybody who had peanut allergies. I didn't go to school with anybody who had rheumatoid arthritis in their 20s, a psoriatic arthritis in their 20s. What is all of this about now? People that, the diabetic, the diabetes pandemic, if you want to say. So where is all this coming from? Well, it's coming from a lack of it's all the artificial, it's all the pollutants at the food level, air level, plant level, the synthetics, and it's what we're breathing in. It's the chemicals, and it's also, it has a bad effect on our bodies. And I think if you're kind of on the smarter side and you do some reading and do a little research, you can maybe overcome some of it some of the time. But I think we have to shore up who we are as a species, strengthen who we are, and look to what they're doing in this agricultural sense over in the Netherlands with this pure waterology. And I believe that the more natural the product as it relates to our body, and our body can do something with it because it'll be more bioavailable if it's from the natural slant. If it works with the nature of our body, the physiology of our body. And this is the one thing that they don't teach in medical school, as I digress here. They don't teach doctors really how the body works. If they did, they would realize how things have been engineered, medications and products that we put in our environment, how they're bad for us. And they bombard our body with electronics and pollutants and signals, the wrong signals, these electronic signals, if you want to say, in our environment.
Yeah, because every organ, cell, and tissue is a different electromagnetic frequency.
Yes.
We're a series of electromagnetic frequencies, really.
The dirty
And so,
electricity.
Mary,
Yeah.
I greatly appreciate what you've just contributed. It explains a lot of things, make it very clear from a medical, from a nursing perspective, from a health perspective. It's an educational component that most people just don't understand. And you were eloquent about it, and I really, really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And
Well, I
thank
see
you.
this when people get into trouble in the operating room, it's the anesthesia team that's titrating the chemistry. And when they're titrating the chemistry of the body, what they're actually giving are, when you talk about like sodium bicarbonate and lactated ringers and all these IV fluids, they're titrating the chemistry of the body to get those free radicals a home. Give them a partner so they can get the hell out of your body before they cause any damage. That's
Right.
what an acidic, that's why alkaline, that slightly alkaline is better for us as a species, because it's acid. Acids are hydrogens. Those are those positive guys, the positive poison guys looking for a
Right.
home. Yes.
Right. Right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. This has been an amazing call. Mary, thank you. Everybody, thank you very much. Get back to the person that put you on the call. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks, Mary. That was amazing. That was really brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Cheers.